Hey kids, Mark Miller here. Welcome to the show. Today, I think it might be a little interesting. We're going to implement the command design pattern today with the goal of implementing undo and redo inside of our map editor. So that's what our goal is. Let's kind of give an overview of the pattern. I haven't done this in a while. The last time I've done this was easily probably about 15-20 years ago. Last time I implemented undo and redo inside of an app that I built. And let's just kind of take a look at what that command design pattern looks like. I think the best way to visualize it is to kind of take a look at the way things are working now in the app. In the app right now, we essentially have what you could describe as the invoker, and then you have a receiver. This is kind of a simplification of it right here. The receiver is, in this case, well, let's actually not talk about that just yet. And then the invoker basically makes a direct call to the receiver to get some stuff done, to do something, some sort of action. Whatever that is, right there. So we've got some sort of action call there. It's kind of what it looks like right now. Let me get some music up here, since we don't have Rory with us right now. We'll get Rory in a little bit. So that's kind of like what typically the scenario looks like. Let's do this. Let's change the layout to title only. Typical invocation of actions. Looks like this. Okay, so it's like that, some direct call. Let's duplicate it. The command design pattern looks like this. It's a little more complicated architecturally. This is going to be like some sort of invoke kind of thing going on here. So it's going to invoke or create a command like that. And then the command at some point is going to go out to the receiver and make a call. You could also have, to some degree in here, you could have something like an executor like that that comes in and basically maybe change invoke to like create command and pass the command to the executor, right? You could decouple it further if that made sense, and it might make sense for what we're doing. Like this, invoker creates a command, and then the command gets sent to the executor, and the executor calls its action. The usefulness of this, I'll just grab a couple of these right here, and this is sent to, like this, the executor, and then the executor calls the action on the receiver. So what we're doing is we're decoupling right here. So this is another version of the command design pattern. So it's kind of like this, and let's duplicate this slide. So we'll have a simple version up above, and whoops, we want to definitely create the command, and then the command invokes the action. So we have simple version right here, and the little bit more detailed version of it. The cool thing about this is that the executor can do things like log, can decide when to invoke the commands. For example, we can do things in parallel. What else? You can also do undo and redo, which is what we want to do to some degree. So So I think that executor is kind of feeling like it's there. That's kind of what I'm feeling like we're going to do. We're going to build something along the lines of this one today. Now, here's what makes it a little bit complicated, I think, is that in our app, in the Dungeons & Dragons app, when we execute a command, that command actually has two different receivers. It's got a receiver that's a high-level receiver, the UI, I guess we call it the UI receiver, but it's also got the low-level map receiver. The map is the data on a low level, knows nothing about UI. So the command, there's two things that happen in a lot of commands. One is we go manipulate the data down here, and the other is we come and tell the UI to update itself. In fact, there's even calls to like things like stamps layer dot begin update, like that. So the command, in terms of where does it go, so this is high level right here. Let's draw a line right across here like this, and this is high level classes. And then down here, we've got low-level classes. In the map core namespace. So it's a little tricky, and it implies that our command has got to be a high-level class. It's going to because it needs to know about the UI receiver. And if it is not a high-level class, then our command needs to have a way of communicating with the UI receiver through some sort of, for example, event or some other kind of way that we are going to communicate and connect. I think for now I'm going to make the command high level, a high level class, and you know, I should totally throw out the disclaimer here, kids. You know, my prep for this show is pretty much zero every day, and we solve problems using that's how we do it. So, you know, we're gonna approach this problem using brute force and ignorance, as we do just about every day. Maybe not so much ignorance. We have a little bit of a sense architecturally what we need to do, but we have no idea what problems are about to hit us. So we'll that's kind of, I think, what makes the show interesting, right? We're going to go through and try and find these. So I need a command. Now, the command is going to, let's do one more slide here and take a look at what the command looks like. The command is going to, here we go. Let's change the layout here to bullets. Where is it? Title and content. There we go. So it needs to know about the receiver, right? What it can call in the receiver. And in our case, we have two receivers, okay? It needs to store data for the command to execute, for example, like a scale. Okay. There are going to be there will be command descendants for each kind of action of modification we can make. So I'm expecting to see e.g. a scale command and a rotate command. And if we want to support undo, well, so hold on. Store data for the command to execute. So we're going to command to execute, we need an execute command. Okay. If we need to support undo, we need to also store data for the for undo. We need to also store data for the undo. And that also means we need a redo command. Sorry, an undo command, like that. And we could add a redo command that just simply calls execute. And so that's what command looks like. So it's going to have some sort of implicit knowledge about the receivers. Now, at some point, when the invoker comes in and says, hey, I want to call and create a command, let's do something else for a second. New slide. Talking about undo and redo. And milestones. So when I think of undo and redo and milestones, we're about to go to overkill production here, kids. Warning. I think of things like this. Let's see. Hold on. How can I best illustrate this? All right, let's draw a line here. Put some text down here. Yeah, this is where we go into crazy town here. January, February, March. April, May, June, you get the idea where I'm going here. July, August, September, October, November, and December. All right, put this over here, select all of these. Let's distribute evenly here, arrange, line, distribute horizontally. Okay, cool. So this is my history. I'm gonna make a milestone. So the idea of milestone here, it's something important. Shape outline, let's do no outline. And what did I do here? Let's change this to a rounded rect. Cool. Just want a little bit rounded on the edges there. This is a signs of good UI tip right here. Don't have sharp corners if you don't need them because they indicate salience or importance. So, for example, this corner here and this corner here indicate that it's an important part of the design, when in reality it's not. So, rounded corner here makes a lot of sense. Changes to a rounded rect, not that extreme, but like that. Just soften it up a little bit. Also, the contrast of this is too high. Let's drop the contrast down. There we go. Looking a little bit better. All right. So, the idea is kind of like this. This is kind of what I'm thinking about. And my height here is kind of, to be honest, is not really indicating anything at all. I just want a different shape here for this. And then well, I don't know. This could be an indication of something here, or the height. It could be indication of like number of changes in a day. So the idea is as I'm editing a document over time, right? I might make a number of changes in a particular day, and in another day I might make even more changes in that day, and in another day I might make even more changes. like that. And then, you know, different kinds of days might have different kinds of sequences. I might have a whole bunch of changes in here, pretty deep in there. I want to do here like this. It's going to illustrate this, what happens in a document over time, like this. And so we might come in here and we might say, all right, cool. Like that. And so the milestone might be something important. Like it might be a save, for example. That might be a save. And anywhere else might be individual edits. Changes, mods, modifications, mods are happening in here, right? And then we've got another save out here, right? So in the course of a document, it kind of looks like this across time. Right? Where you have different kinds of things happening when you move it over the course of the year. Now, the question here is, in the old days of document editing, you would just save and you might have a couple levels of undo, but once you saved and closed the app, you were done. In other words, this history was gone right here, right? All of these changes. The thing that's kind of interesting about undo and redo is these milestones here, because they could be a significant event. Like in Visual Studio, it might be a compile, right? A successful compile. So being able to visualize this and take the document forward or backwards through the history is kind of interesting, right? Being able to say, for example, take it back here, right? And even then consider branching as well, right? If we're talking about, you know, what the benefits of version control, right? We can take it back to this location. So when I think about undo and redo with regards to our map document and saving, I'm thinking actually about the ability to bring up a UI, maybe, that says, do you want it to revert back to this? Or alternatively, another way of thinking of it is, look, every time I hit save, that means I'm creating a milestone, which is a barrier against going backwards in time. So what if, for example, I'm like working on it right in here in this space right here, and I start doing undo. As I start doing undo, we take that one off the stack, we put it on the redo stack, we take that one off the stack, that sort of thing. And I keep undoing all the way, all of this, right? Right, undo, 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 right? And then undo, 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 and I can still redo everything, right? Undo, and now I hit undo one more time. But now I'm at the milestone barrier here where I've saved. And what I'm envisioning it happening is it's saying, hey, you want to go past your save at this date and time, your last save? And if you say, yeah, then it pops that and it goes to here, right? And now we're running in this place. If we go forward, we're just gonna, you know, keep putting those pieces back in. So that's kind of what I'm envisioning undo and redo looking like, potentially in here. So with that, I envisioned also that we were going to save the undo redo history with the map document. If we're saving it, we might also want to have an option to take all of this past data that's just taking up a lot of space, right? And say, you know what, I don't need it anymore. Clear all of that out. So these are things that we can do with this. I'm not sure I'm going to implement them, but it's a direction I'm thinking about. So if that's the case, then we need to be able to, ideally, we need a way to serialize our commands. And if that's the case, we're going to have a problem if the command directly references a UI receiver. We're going to need a way of registering that low level with the command. So it's actually better to make the command low level. Okay, what was that? 21 minutes of command design pattern consideration and thought. Let's try and make it low level. So here's our map spike. By the way, here's the Frost Queen map, just playing with some different items, throwing them in there. It looks pretty good. Here it is at 100% scale. Whoops. And I'm not sure what's happening. Hold on a second. Just like, let's control that break. Where are we? Get flyweight. We're reconstituting. That doesn't quite make sense. What's my call stack? Tile parent. Get all matching tiles. Oh, I think I double clicked on the room. And so it's doing that. Okay. And this may not be helping performance right there. Let's close that, clear that up. Okay. So here, let's go to 100% scale. There it is. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So that's kind of what it's looking like right now. And all of this is being saved and loaded in. I worked on this last night, just dropped these pieces in, and this morning I loaded it up, and it's remembering everything. We've got, like, you know, different stamps that are dropped down on here, like this. Right? We have this group, this table. Which is a group of chairs and items on the table. All of that is preserved and saved. I'll save it one more time. The saves are really fast. There's some performance issues with regard to loading we need to look at still, but I'm going to ignore the performance issues for now and go straight into undo redo. That's my intention. So with that, we need a command. And I said it's got to be low level, so we're going to throw it down in map core. And I'm just going to make it a class. Call it base command. We know that we have let's see, we have a method inside of here called execute. And we have this is going to be abstract. And I need another one called undo, I think. It's going to be an abstract class. And I think I think we're going to need a since we're going to serialize these, we're going to need to put in a type name. Like this, and set that in our descendants. I wonder if there's a way to get it. I think there is a way to get it. I just need to look at this. Let's actually look this up because I want to save some time here. C# get type name of this class. Type of I don't think I want the type of T. Object.getType method. Is that what it is? Is that going to do it for me? So get so type dot, then we have full name, name. That may be all we really need for type name, actually. Whoops. Come on, S equals. There we go. I think that's all we need. I think that'll work. So base command will get its type name so that we can then recreate it. We need a command factory as well. We're going to need a command factory, I think, to be able to create them by name. So we're actually jumping into the factory design pattern as well. Hey, Copperbeardy, just noticed you in here. And why do we really have no already? We have no fanfares. And Jetsam here as well. That's not good. Yeah. All right. Let's shut it down and restart. I'm like, why? Can't do a show without fanfares. That's gonna make me crazy. Excuse me. Let's see what we got to do here. Starting. Kill Chrome. Boom. Every instance of Chrome is destroyed. Restarting my overlays. Taking my D&D app. Let's kill it. Get a message, WebSocket client disconnected. Did we restart overlays? Is it running? Looks like it's running. There it is, starting up. Let's take the D&D app. Did it not die yet? Thought I hit Shift F5 on it. There it is, it died. Okay. All right. Let's refresh the overlays. Yeah, that's like, this is a little disconcerting to me. It is dying. The overlays are dying. In a way that is not making sense to me. We've got breakpoints in here. I think our scene changes are here. Is that right? And Mr. Announcebot. Yeah, we've got a client on error, client disconnected. None of this, we're not getting anything here popping in. So there's no errors. It's just like not working. And this is all new behavior with really no changes to the code. Oh, you used the thing to hide it? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You're right, you did. My bad. Okay. Well, we'll restart anyway. You both used it, and I didn't see it. I'll become a professional one day, kids. The show's going to be a professional show one day. I will not be as bad as I used to be. When I was a teenager, in my early 20s, I created the motion control system for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stage show. That was playing at Radio City Music Hall, among other places around the country. And we created a company, and I was as obnoxious then as I am now, and I maybe more so. And our product was called the e217. It stood for Interactive Digital Input-Output Transmitter. It was a remote control system for the animatronics of the turtles. So this is like in 1986 or something like that, 1987, mid 80s, late 80s. Created this, and our motto that we put everywhere was, we don't blank up like we used to. Because I thought it was really funny. And so, that's kind of what we got there. Yeah, so maybe everything was working, and I just, do you hate it when this happens, right? Does this ever happen to you kids, where you're like, you're sure there's a problem, but you're wrong, and you start, undoing stuff like crazy to try to figure it out? This happens to me sometimes, right? I'm like, oh no, What's wrong? Yeah, the refreshes here are taking a little longer on the overlays. You can see the refresh is taking a while. There we go. Yeah. I defeated you kids. All right. Sometimes if I retry the refresh, it just comes in instantly, and that works quickly. There we go. You both wanted.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
All right, I'm going to try and be a little more alert here, kids. Sit there thinking, why is this working? It wasn't a minute ago. What is going on? Yeah. So, okay. That was a fun little adventure, wasn't it? I hit initialize player data. Oh, because I thought I restarted this. This should all be working. Maybe that was a bad time to do it because the drone game is taking a while to load up. Let's try refreshing it one more time. And is it going to load? Here it comes. Okay. I'm going to give this a second. I'm going to restart the D&D app, and then we'll go. Yeah, that's like about a 2-minute mistake. It's like, oh, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. Try to be better. Yeah. So anyway, we don't blank up like we used to. That was my motto for the company. I think it was a bold statement. We were very proud of it. And it was kind of based on, like, you know, a lot of the companies, you know, this whole idea of like new and improved, you know, with it, everybody was using to sell their products. Okay, one more time. Let's see if we can, yeah, the loads are taking a while here. Notice the flickering coins all the way around. What's going on? What's my perf issue here? It's Visual Studio. Which one? Do I have some? It's probably one of the two running ones. Sometimes I think, I'm not sure, but I think that conditional breakpoints can impact performance while debugging because it's running that condition every time. What else do I got? Ooh, Edge is taking up a lot. It looks like we're finally done loading. Let's see if we can do initialize player data one more time. And are we going to get rid of our text up above here when that comes through? It should go away. There's one. It is slow though. Usually these are like boom, 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 and they go away. Only one went away. That means the die roller and the front overlay need another refresh. They're somehow not caught up, I'm imagining, with Signal R. One more time. Refresh the front overlay, the front overlay. The front overlay refresh is, there it is, right there. Looking for those words. Front overlay is waiting for player data to be initialized. And now the 3D dice. One more time. Refresh it. And click in the initialize player data. Looks like it's okay to receive it. Come on. I want to see that text go away. What is going on?
Working!
It is, why isn't the die roller getting initialized? It's not seeing. All right, let's try this. Let's try turning them off. And the back overlay is working, the front are not. It's like, I think OBS is refresh. I think there might be a problem there with the refresh. Let's do the front overlay again. Refresh that one more time. One more time, initialize player data. Oh, I'm doing that maybe too soon. I'm seeing scroll bars off to the side. Who's not done refreshing here? It's the front overlay. How's the back overlay? The 3D dice, I mean. Let's check that layer. That layer is good. But we did, yeah.
McLove nuts!
So the back overlay is getting it, but the front is not. All right, well, I guess I'm not going to worry about it too much now. I think I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off right now on this view. Oh, wait, hold on. We've got a breakpoint. That could be...
Genesco 7, where are you? We need your help.
That might be why.
I am.
I think they're, all right, let's go back. Hey, Genesco 7, welcome. Let's go back over here. I'm going to try this one more time with these guys. Refresh that cache on here. I think it was at a breakpoint. I think that was maybe stopping the layer from initializing. Is that possible though? This breakpoint is in, no, I don't, well, maybe it was. Because it was stopping the overlay app from running, even though I was breaking in, this browser right here for what was loading up in this browser, which is the back page, I think. But I think that may impact it. All right, there's the front overlay. Here comes the dice. I have a feeling this is going to work. Refresh of the dice. Okay, and one more time with initialized player data. Will it work? Will the text go away, or are we just going to have to hide it for the show? And is it a restart of OBS? Yeah, I'm feeling I'm smelling an OBS bug, and looks like they're not going away. And I think my solution is a restart.
Working.
So instead of a restart, of OBS. I'm not going to stop the stream. I'm not going to stop the stream. Instead, I'm going to just turn off the those two layers, and we won't have those front layers on here, which means we won't be hearing from Fred, and there won't be some other special effects, but that's okay because we're writing code. So let's go back into the map spike. Here we are. We're in a command factory. Command factories needs something. This is going to be a static class, and we need to be able to create a command. We need some sort of function here that is going to return a base command, I think. Command factory.create like this, and then I'm going to pass in a string that's going to be the command type. And am I passing in data or no? I don't know if I'm passing in data yet or not. So if we're going to serialize this, all the data's got to come out in a particular string. I think. That's what I think. Because we have problems with JSON about creating the right class. Because JSON doesn't store the class type, and if we have like a hierarchy and we go to bring it in, and it's a list of a base type, it's just going to create a bunch of base commands. And I wanted to create the other one. And so we had to kind of do some workarounds for JSON to make that, to be able to create the right instance of it, and then send the data across to it. So I think the storage, the data has got to be a string. I think we got to do this. It's not my happiest way of doing this. So this is my execute data. And I think I'm going to have my undo data here. So it's a bit of a compromise if I want to actually save these to implement this way. But if I don't, and I implement it another way, I'm going to have to come back and get this working like this anyway. Let's see if we can get music going now. Can we? All right. So we got music. All right. And, you know, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't give up. It's that brute force and ignorance thing. I'm going to come back in and start one more time. I'm going to try refreshing these overlays again one more time, too. I don't know. I just got a feeling about it that if we let things settle down for a bit, we'll kind of get there. This Microsoft Edge is really bugging me. Why is Edge taking up so much?
Big love nuts.
Let me close one of them down. Is that going to make it happier? Yep. Wow. That was a lot. So now I've just got one Edge window up. All right. Note to self, do that more in the future. I'm going to refresh these babies. Here we go. e217 with the rainbow. I kind of like this song. All right, front overlay. Here we go. Refresh that. We'll let that go for a little bit. Then we're going to start up the D&D app. Oh, I guess we started up. We'll call initialize once that's done. Let's go back to the code. All right, command factor. We need to be able to create something in here. We need to make this public. And this is going to return a base command. Hey, Rory. How you doing, buddy? So we've got these two things here. Let's just do a big return null right now. Yeah, I'm almost thinking about activator.create or something like that. Create instance. Assembly name, type name. Yeah, I kind of like that. Returns an object handle. What is an wait, here it's showing it's an okay. Rory is not talking. I just said hi to him because he's in the chat room there. Thanks, Copperbeardy. Okay, I don't want a remote object. Let's unwrap. Turns the wrapped object. Is that what we want? I haven't used activator.create instance in a while. Let's go take a look at that. Yeah, it's just, they're just typecasting to the object. Okay, cool. All right. So we've got a command factory that's there. And I think well, at the very least, let's do this. I think this is going to be useful. Like that. It's going to be return this instead. We'll typecast it to a base command. No. There's no as for object on that. What's my problem here? Is it because create instance? Hold on. Create instance, if I pass in the type, returns an object, but create instance with these parameters, assembly name and type name, creates an object handle. Okay, so let's go back to that example. Did I really close down? I closed it down. All right. This is exactly what I've got here. Although it looks like they have an extra print here. This looks wrong to me. I can pass in the type reference to it. I wonder if they're doing, hold on a second. Is this going to do it by chance? And is it going to work? Nope. Object handle to a base command. You cannot actually do that. So, got any fixes? What I would really like, what I would really like is a copy this so I can look up help on it. Or see help, search for this. Otherwise, I've got to now type in this whole thing. Object handle. Yeah, it's not a, I don't want to, it's not another domain, it's in the same name. But it's interesting, I'm getting a lot of calls to unwrap. Can I do that, I suppose? Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens with it. You happier with that? Oh, it looks like it may work. So maybe that's what it is. We call unwrap on it like that. We'll see what we can, we'll set a breakpoint there and see if that works. So there's our command factory. There's our base command. Let's move that out. Move type to file. Okay. Now, let's create a command for one of the things that we do that's pretty simple. We got a flip horizontal. We got a flip command, I guess. So let's Let's create a descendant of this. We'll call this the flip command. And let's implement it. I think we also need a prepare for serialization call in here. Like that, and I think we also need a reconstitute. So after we've serialized, that'll be called. I think we need both of those. Let's implement those. Okay, let's move type to file. The command, so execute. Since these are always working on the map data, I'm pretty sure the execute's always going to have, in other words, we'll pass in, this is the receiver. So we look at the design that we created at the beginning of this, the beginning of the show, we're talking about the command having a reference to the receiver, but also to the map. I'm going to say, let's only talk to the map, and maybe the map can trigger events that the UI receiver responds to. So I'm going to try to get this out of the picture, is what I'm going to try and do, and talk only to the map. That's kind of what we'll probably have some refactoring that we'll have to do here. So the idea here is that it's going to look like that, right there. Let's go in here, add parameter, map, like that. All right. And then let's do the same with undo as well. This is the cool thing about CodeRush's add parameter is that it impacts the whole. The whole hierarchy. So if we had hundreds of these commands, they would all be changed at once. Okay, so prepare for serialization. That's where we've got to store. We need a to-do here, store in, what is it called? Data? What did I call this thing? The execute data. Store, execute data, and what was the other one? I think it's undo data. And the reconstitute is going to be the reverse of this. Whatever that's going to be. Okay, so if we're going to flip, we need to know what direction we're flipping. So the question is, do I make a horizontal flip command and a vertical flip command? I kind of feel like I do. Let's see what we can do here on map. Well, let's actually back up a little bit. Let's go out over here, the high-level window class, and look at what happens with a flip here. Infernal Wraith says, triple your coding skills today by not putting brackets in new lines. Coding Infernal Wraith. Good advice. Red Becker says he'll be here in about 15 minutes, I think. Just noticing that. Not sure when he put that in there. All right, so here's the UI layer. Then we're going to selected stamps. Oh boy. Yeah, the serialization of this is making it a little tricky architecturally, because there's kind of compromises happening for in different levels. So when we flip, if here's a horizontal flip, we need to essentially execute this code. Kelly28 is now following. Thanks for the follow, Kelly28. T-4 now. Excellent. Can't wait to see you, Rory. Yeah, so I think... By the way, is Fred working now? Fred's working. Yeah, it just took a little more time to get everything to load up. One thing I hadn't thought about is the selected stamps. What is that? That's a list of iStamp properties. And iStamp properties is down in the map core, which is good. So a command can work on multiple stamps. There are other commands as well, though, that may have nothing to do with stamps. So I think I need a descendant of base command here. Let's create a descendant of this called a stamp selection command. I think I'm going to add one more in here, string property in here called selection data for the inside base command. So that'll store the selection, what the selection is. So the stamp selection command is here. It's descending from base command. And I'm going to make it abstract. So things are a little happier up there. So I'm thinking about execute. The first time I call execute, let's look at this. The first time okay, let's do it this way. Here's what I'm going to do. It's execute. There's going to be execute accepts the selection and stores it. Okay. Redo passes the stored selection to execute. Like that. And should, now, if we come back in here, yeah, okay. So iStamp properties, let's look at this here. iStamp properties, there's going to be a new list of iStamp properties here. We're going to call this the selection, selected stamps, like that. So let's come in here and say, what is it? I'm not sure yet here. Basically map, comma, selected. Should I consider not every option is going to have the same selection. The selection data is different. That's the trick on this. That's what's making this a little bit tricky, because I can have a selection of tiles and I can have a selection of and I can have a selection of stamps. I think I almost need selection data to be a second object coming in on execute no matter what. I think I need to do that. All right, let's set a parameter here. That's kind of what I think. Genso Zero is rating with a party of 8. How you doing? Am I getting that pronunciation right? Is it Genso or Genso? I'm feeling maybe it's Genso with a j sound. Welcome. How is your stream? The first one, Genso. Okay. Genso Zero. What'd you guys do? I should do some crazy stuff because of the stream, shouldn't I? Here, I'll give you this right here. Learning about Octree today, my brain is a bit mushed. Yeah, mine is too. I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of flopping around a little bit here in the code. Trying to work through what I'm going to need here. Execute is going to need some selection data, I think. Here comes Rory. Rory, hello, check it out. And you're not seeing, I figured out how to make it so that you don't see the rewind happening very quickly all the way through.
Yeah, I see you live.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, so
Applause,
should be good from now on. I have to actually open up a dialogue in Skype and keep it open the entire time, and it'll work. I'm like doing so many cartwheels with all this software to, to make it work the way I want it to.
I mean, you're like a level 15 thrasher of software.
I am a thrasher, right point.
Your specialist skills.
How's your day today?
My day has been good.
Yeah?
I'm in awesome form. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive.
Good. Good. Well,
to be fair, it's probably a hang-up from all the success from yesterday.
Yeah.
On the stream, right?
Were you? I don't think you made it all the way to the end, though. You had to leave.
Not quite.
So we nailed it. At the end of the day, when I stopped it, we were like streaming, serializing, deserializing, and serializing groups of stamps. And all of it was working well. And it was just like, we had one bug near the end where I was doubling up the group elements because it was a recursive thing, because the recursion was crazy. Not only do we have recursion, we had calls that triggered events that went back high level, that went back down low level and called the same method again because of the grouping and the preparation for serialization, which was needed. And it was like, I was like, you know, a lot of times when encoding, I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. I have a gut feel that I'm done, and I just run, and often it works. And that happened twice yesterday. Once, and I ran it, and it didn't work. We had this extra duplicate in the code, in the saved file, and I was like, where is it? Where is it? I went back and I worked on it a little bit more, and then I'm like, I think I'm done again. And so it's different from knowing you're done, right? It's like, it's so complex. You're like, I think I got it. Let's try it. So that's what happened yesterday. So it wasn't like I was a genius and brilliant and knew it was going to work. It was
maybe 90% genius.
Well, I don't know. Well, you know, this is why you're on the show, Rory, because I say 70 and you say 90, and that's why you're here. They're done, and then there is done. Yeah, there's done, and then there's done. Yeah, and so we had verifiably done at the end, but it wasn't as awesome, right? I think if I had gotten it on the first try, it would have been awesome, and not the second try. But still, it was. I think it was kind of impressive. It was impressive work in coding because, you know, when you have complex, so recursion in a simple example is not too hard to conceptualize and build, but this was super tricky at the end of the day. On reflection, it was pretty tricky. So here we go. So I'm working on
some command pattern stuff.
Yeah, undo and redo, and I'm looking at the flip command, and I'm trying to decouple it from the upper higher level. The problem is my flip up here. Let's go find it again. I don't see it on screen. Flip, whoops, flip. Like here is where I want to look at this one. So this is a UI layer. This is UI. So this call, I can't really call from down low. Similarly, so is this, and so is this. Okay. Yeah. However, I can add a property to the command that we check up here, and then we do our magic down there. So I'm imagining something along these lines. Let's see. Command factory dot create flip like this is going to give me, I'm just kind of envisioning the code here. We'll call this the flip command. And maybe we'll call this flip horizontal, like that. And then flip command dot execute. And we're going to pass in the map, which interestingly enough, we don't actually use in this code below. But we also need to pass in the selection data, which is going to be the selected stamps, like that. Okay?
Yep.
And then I'm envisioning something like this. If flip command dot manipulates, works with stamps, works on stamps like this, then I want to do this, that, end update, and then update stamp selection UI. So I've kind of got a, you know, what do you work on kind of question on it. Right? And what's cool about this, though, is I can now extract this into its own method. execute command like this, pass it the flip command. And now what's cool about this is that every other one of these, see all these that are essentially the same? Those things.
You've abstracted the outer wrapping, as it were.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Those all,
directly-
yeah, these all collapse. All of these will turn into something smaller
Yeah.
if I
Much
do it.
smaller by the look of it.
I'm not a huge fan of the works on stamps, but it kind of, you know.
It'll work until we think of something better.
Let's do it, says Rory. Rory says, just write some code for goodness sakes. So let's go ahead and do it now. I'm like a little squeamish about it because it's like it's an ancestor class. It's really, I don't know. We're gonna
Well,
do
it works on UI or operates against UI.
Well, no, there's two different things that we can do at a high level. They're UI related elements. We can manipulate tiles, like, actually maybe more. We can manipulate tiles, which includes setting the texture for the floor, saying whether it's got doors or walls around it.
Yep.
Walls may not be on the tiles, so walls may be back on the map. So now notice though, one of the things that's actually, well, for flip, we don't have to worry about it. We just need to store the selection. Okay. But for other things like changing the floor tile, let's say we have a whole bunch of a variety of floor tiles out there and we now change it. We need to store with the selection each individual floor tile and then reverse that out. And I'm worried that by this, I'm worried that we're going to have a lot of code that we're going to need to consolidate. I think we're going to need to refactor what we're writing right now. I think. I'm worried that this right here is going to that's going to lead to problems, and I'm also worried that these three are going to lead to problems as well.
Could work on that first thing. Could you not mimic it after events and have a sort of an execute args, which you inherit from or not, as the needs expand and contract?
Yes, I can. The reason I did these though is to support serialization of commands, because I was thinking, how cool would it be if I had the complete undo history for the map like this, for the entire stored in the map. So all these red ones are saves and everything else are just changes. So I could conceivably never save and have unlimited undo and redo. That's
for that matter, everything is saved.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Change.
That sounds like a familiar pattern to me. I forget what that's called.
Well, I just have to serialize the base commands. The problem is if I serialize them and I've got this abstract class and other specific classes, I kind of need to, in my prepare for serialization and reconstitute, I need to set these up here and save these. Let's do this. Let's ignore saving for now. And then, because I think we're painting ourselves into a tiny corner, and really the benefits of this are going to require a fair amount of coding that I'm thinking, well, let's not worry about right now. Let's only have undo and redo live for the session, and when we leave the session, we lose all these, because it's an extra level of challenge and complexity that
it's also a paradigm that we're quite used to using elsewhere. Word or Studio. Once we have saved, once we have quit, as I say, and come back, we don't have access to that. So we're able to cope with that issue.
I was distracted by that other thing. Say that again for me, Rory. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that we're used to using applications where what you're suggesting is the case. We don't have an undo stack having just loaded something. So we're mentally prepared for that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pop this in a region, and I'm going to call this serialization. Like whether we're going to do that or not, get rid of that for now. Do I not have region painting on? What's going on here? Code Rush. Did we not port this yet? I haven't used regions in a while.
I thought we did have regions as a capability.
region painting. There it is. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. I want classic. Let's see how classic looks. I don't know if I will really need dry arrows either. I don't think I like that either. That's classic. These should be dimmed down. All right, Coderish issue here. All right, devs, in the region painting, the contrast of these lines here is too high for the begin and end lines here. This needs to be lower contrast here. And when I close it, collapse it, I'm not sure about this either. The saturation here is too great. It's emphasizing itself, and I really think we need something else here. I think we had a better look for this in Coderish Classic, and I'd like to look at that and go back to that. Carrot when entering. Yeah, so the painting style. Also, here, I should have a preview of what that's going to look like. So, so those are kind of, that's kind of what I'm looking for there. Pop that in as an issue. Region painting. Don't need a log. Like that, send that out. Okay. All right, that's our region for now. So let's do this. Since we've got now this, I'm having a problem here because I really want to just bring in the, I want to bring in just that selection is what I want to. I want to actually have that typecast selection of stamps. In other words, I think I am. Oh, I think I just had an idea. It's a little crazy, but it actually kind of solves the problem.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let's go look at our call here. Do we have the call here? Selected stamps. Selected stamps is a list of iStamp properties. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. It's a little crazy. It's going to look like this. TL dot backslash is going to give me that. So T means a type reference, L is a list, the dot is a generic list, and the slash gives me iStamp properties. So I did TL dot backslash, well, that's what's on the clipboard right there. So that's how I got that so quickly. So now I've got this. That's my execute. Later, I'm going to create one that's going to give me a list of tiles and pass that in as well. I think, or whatever the tile ancestor class is. So right now, we're going to just, this is going to just be easier on us right now. So there's my execute. And I think I've got an undo and a redo. Like that. And since we're in the base command, I think I can now make this I'm thinking about changing everything, Rory. No longer abstract. And when we execute comes in, we are going to say, we're going to come in here, hit the Coderish key, choose declare, property with initializer. So now we've got our selection data stored. And then we're going to call, I think, redo from here, passing in map. That's what I think we're going to do. And I think I like that. Okay, so now we've got the selection data, list of iStamp properties.
Yes.
Is it going to work?
More concrete.
By the way, yesterday, I don't think you were here for this, Rory. Near the end, we had some crazy stuff happening where I was manipulating an instance passed in. Oh, but you know what? It was in the middle of recursion land. So as I was stepping through, it wasn't clear which one I was stepping out of. So never mind what I was about to say. So it was like not entirely clear where I was. So I'm going to withdraw that comment of the crazy stuff that was happening. Okay. I think that's it. for that. We got redo and undo. We've got to go take care of. In serialization, we're not going to worry about. Let's go over into stamp selection command, which no longer really we need this. This is already stored above. Instead, I think what I want to do, Copper Beardy, what'd you do? 3 hours doing unit tests this morning, then decided I wanted to restructure my project and broke them all, so I've spent the afternoon fixing them. I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, I'm just going to delete stamp selection command. And let's delete that. Still my flip command. Let's do this also. Let's create a, add a new folder. Let's put all our commands in there. So we'll throw that in there, and we've got the flip command coming in there. We've got the command factory, and I think that's it. So flip command is going from base command. We're no longer overriding execute or any of these. Although I do like these comments coming up into that section we had above. We do need undo and redo though. And let's get the rest of what we need here. There's undo and redo. Okay, cool. I like this from a standpoint of simplicity. Base command.
So redo. Is redo not the same as execute?
Yes, kind of, except for look what happens. We set selection data here. The reason why, Rory, is the selection may change over time as we work with the file. So if we undo, 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 and then we go to a redo, we need to have that selection. We need to store that selection and get it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
that's what we need to do. So now we have to also be able to support destruction and reconstruction, and then so let's say we add new items, we we add new items, we manipulate on those new items we've added. Make sense, right? So let's say I drop 5 items and I flip them all. Now I undo the flip and I undo the dropping of the items. I've destroyed them. Now I want to redo them. I'm now creating items again. Now when I go to the flip's got its selection data, but guess what? That selection data is a bunch of references that I destroyed in the undo.
Right.
And now I've recreated new items. I've got to grab those. The items I grab have got to somehow be re-grabbable, which I think means when I create an instance of it, I give it a GUID. And we've already got GUIDs built in. And when I undo, I save the GUID of the item, or when I undo the creation, in other words, delete it, I save the GUID so I can recreate it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
And when I recreate it, go ahead.
At your execute with your selection in play there, I'm curious how is it deliberate, because it appears to be that the act of selecting is not a command.
Right, it's not. That is deliberate.
So it's assumed to be associated with a post or prior event. Then.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to make a selection be the command. So selecting is not going to change the file, but anything that changes the file will be undoable. That's kind of the idea. You want me to change that? Should we talk about that?
I've never done it this way before. I'm interested to see how it comes out. The reason I would consider it separate before is because then you don't need to worry so much about whether the selection has to be set or unset, sort of pre or post any other command. So what have we got here? The base command. Okay, bad example. If you were doing a delete command, you wouldn't need to worry about setting the selection up to nothing afterwards, because I think, well, if you were undoing a deletion, you would create. Do you know what? I'm getting tied up in this. I think maybe you're right. I think maybe it is good to associate that way.
I don't know. I think you can argue it both ways, right? If we do it the way that I'm not going to say you're proposing it, but the way you're talking about, right? If we implement it with where the selection is undoable and redoable, what that means is that well, it's different. I'll observe that it's different from like the way most editors work. right? Most editors work where, like, there's my selection and there's my selection. I hit undo and it doesn't restore the previous selection, right? There's Visual Studio has a different feature, Control Dash, to move back to different locations, but it doesn't. It just moves the caret. It doesn't move the anchor. It doesn't change the anchor to what it was, but it goes through the history there. So it's got a different list for that. So observation one, it's different from most things, but no judgment on that, right? It could
It's
be
interesting.
useful.
I sort of had assumed that it worked that way, but if I select some text and I delete that text, and then I undo the deletion of the text, what I get back, I assume, is selected text.
That can be up to the executor, right? The executor of the piece, which means our undo and redos. When I do I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I think after I do what's the selection before, what's the selection afterwards? Yeah, I feel like this is the simpler way to do it.
I am
I'm
becoming
running
more and more in favor of the way you're planning already, yeah. Because apart from anything else, if selection was an individual thing, you would now be asking your user to Control Z or redo through more steps.
Yes.
And I don't think that they would care to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking as well. It's maybe useful for to trigger recollection of what you were working on and where you were, but I'm kind of feeling no on that.
Yeah. Okay.
But we do have a problem with selection data if we're going to delete and then go forward. So we need to be clever about how we store the selection data. Stamp properties. Does it have a GUID? Does not look like it has a GUID. Stamps do not have GUIDs.
Yes, things that are created need to be created with identity, so that when they are recreated with the same identity.
Yeah, that part is true. We're going to need to fix that. Let's.
We could. Well. Yeah. But our identity for the purposes of effectively creation and then selection need not be the same identity that is ultimately saved as a GUID into the text file.
I'm not going to save it, I think. If we constrain ourselves to only implementing undo redo during the session, we don't need to save it. So we can add a GUID here. I think we're going to need to add a GUID here. We will. That's kind of more advanced.
I agree, and I think it should definitely be forcibly different from the GUID that we have previously used for saving, since we've decided, I think we sort of allocate one if it doesn't already have one, so we'd have a problem there. We'd be breaking our existing pattern if we did that. So this is a good plan.
Well, the thing is that the GUIDs that we're currently using... Hold on a sec. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Wrong folder. Hold on. I feel like these are both wrong. I've got like a data folder that I added to my... that's not the one I want. Yeah. They're both wrong. Okay, interesting. Nope and nope. Let's go into assets, dragon, maps. This is where we're saving our files. Let's bring up a small lava map. Opening code. So just to kind of refresh everybody's memory on what we're talking about here. Roy's talking about the GUIDs that we're currently using. The piece I wanted to point out is that the GUID that we're using, here you can see it right there, right there's the GUID. These are for our flyweights, which are not the stamps. The flyweights are our tiles and our rooms, right?
Of course.
So there's no collision.
There's no clash anyway.
Yeah, there's no clash or collision or namespace kind of, there's no mental clash there. And then with regards to the serialized stamps, they currently don't have a GUID. Okay, so there's no GUID with them. We could do it, but I don't think we only need to do that if we're going to support serialization of undo and redo. In other words, we save the file, we open it later, and we can undo past the save back into previous versions of it, which I don't think we need to do. I think I'm going to constrain ourselves to only working at undo and redo while the file's open. It's not unreasonable. Okay, but I think we definitely need to solve this problem here. We need to do a GUID here. We'll implement that when we get to the problem. So the flip command looks like gonna look like something like it's gonna look like this code right here. Let's go into the flip command. Here's the redo. And selected stamps, what are we calling it? It's this dot what? Selection data? Is that right? No.
That's a list of iStamp properties.
It is. Okay. All right, let's rename this. Like that. Whoops. Guess who forgot to hit the rename button? All right, so then we call redo on it. Now that's feeling better. We set that there. So at the very least, then we can actually extract this into its own method, call it flip selection. This should be the horizontal flip command. And our undo and redo are the same.
Yes.
That's what I think it is.
I think that's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Let me go a little crazy here for a second. Let's create a descend into this, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal flip command and put the other descendant there. Whoops. I just want to see what happened there. C forward slash isn't working here. Why not? So we got a coder's bug.
Isn't the forward slash supposed to be the type that you're in and you're actually outside the type now?
Oh, you're right. It's me. I'm doing it wrong. Hold on, C backslash. That's what it is. Thanks, buddy. So we're going to call this the vertical flip command. And we're going to... Oh, and this is not going to be... What's my problem here? Oh, this needs to be abstract. There we go. And then here, we need to implement this. And we need to implement this down here. And then we need to come in and throw this code in here for each of these pieces here. So flip selection. And let's copy that. This is going to be flip vertically. All right, that's not too bad. And then this one is flip horizontally, like that. Let's put all of these in their own classes. Let's rename file to match type for base flip command. Horizontal flip command. You typed a file. Love it. Well, I said love it because I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to give it a different namespace than the one it was already in, MapCore, because it's in this commands folder. Sometimes if I create a new class in here, Visual Studio will think I want its namespace to be mapcore.commands, and I don't. I just want to use these for organizational purposes. Okay, so there's our flip selection. Back over here in this code, flip horizontal, wait, hold on. What is it? It's horizontal flip command. So I want to call this horizontal flip. And I actually don't want to throw the word command in there. Instead, I want to come in here and I want to say if command type dot ends with command, if it does not end with it, then I want to just add command to the end of it, like that.
Yep.
And we're going to call this command suffix, like that. Okay. So now we still got a question whether we're going to create that or not, but I think that's going to work. I have a feeling there's a shot of it. And there's a shot that this works, that flip horizontal works.
Curious, are you intending at some stage to take the, let's see, the UI layer and the layer the command factory is in and separating them sufficiently so that one can't see the other somehow?
Well, I think I've done that.
Well, all I meant is that
right here.
You're passing in a magic string of horizontal flip, but you could pass in name of horizontal flip command.
Right. I could.
I'm wondering if there's pluses or minuses on that theory.
I think there's pluses on it. It feels good to me. I like it. Let's see.
What we rename, we don't break anything.
Yeah, let's, what do we got here? Let's grab this. Pop it there. Let's try horizontal flip. Okay. Let's see what happens here.
Not owned.
Horizontal flip command from assembly map core.
That seems like that should have worked.
Horizontal flip
Do
command.
we have to provide the full namespace to it? So we don't load horizontal flip command, we load mapcore dot horizontal flip command.
That would be a weird. I don't think so, because this is saying the two parameters here for activator are assembly name, type name. Assembly name, type name. Yeah, no, I think you're right. We do. Command type, and then we're gonna, let's do that. I think you're totally right. So let's fix that. I bet that works. Let's try it. There we go. Did we get something back? Hey, we got something back. Good job, Roy. Now we're calling execute command on it. If the command works on stamps. Oh, son of a... Look what we forgot to do. That's all right. I can fix the code and ship it just by making changes here. And set the statement. All right, try now. Works on stamps. Update. Flip execute. Now we're setting selected stamps. We got one. Calling redo. It's as if we're brilliant. And did I execute this line? I didn't see that we actually executed the line. I guess we must have, because we've got those in there. Flip selection, and then run it. Let's just see. Did it flip it? I think it did. It's been so long. Let's clear this. It's not flipping it.
That does not appear to be flipping.
I will make it flip it. Hold on.
This is what we do. We bend code to our will.
Yeah, we'll get it bended to our will. Hold on. I got to fix that works on stamps. Oh, are we coming back in here and not works on stamps? Oh, yeah. Works on stamps is
right,
false.
Because, yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. So works on stamps, we need to set that in our constructor for our base flip command.
So I'm curious, if you're going to have if you've got a base command, Did you have a stamp command and a tile command?
Yeah, I'm going to give a base stamp command is what I'm going to do. I'm killing the app, and I'm going to create a base stamp command. It's going to stem from this. So we're going to do that right there, base stamp command, and we're going to say works on stamps equals true, like that. Then we're going to come in here. This is an abstract class. And we're going to send our base flip command from a base stamp command.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do. Move type to file and run.
Now we can also move our execute as it stands statement from wherever it is now to the base stamp command, because it is in essence a stamp execute.
Oh, hold on. Let's see that.
Where is that?
I have it here in the ancestor. It's in base command.
Right, but it is specifically a stamp execution because it gives a list of stamp properties.
Yeah, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to add a selection stamps and a selected tiles. The selection pieces I'm going to pop in. Yeah, I don't know how to solve this yet, Rory. I'm like, that's I don't know.
What we've got is better than what we had, and that's all that counts.
All right, let's grab some magic here.
Yeah, we tell me that we can flip and we'll notice it's flipped.
Yeah, let's shrink this down so it's over up here. Let's rotate it and now flip it. There's the flip there. Let's run it. There we go.
Woohoo!
Okay, so we've decoupled flipping. That means if we had undo working, we could undo those flips.
Yep.
Because we're just saving those in a stack. Want to implement undo and redo right now?
Cool.
Okay. All right. So we're calling execute command. We're going forward. That means our redo stack. So we're going to do this. We're going to create a list of a new list of what's on the clipboard. This is going to be our redo stack. And then we're going to also have an undo stack. Okay? Now, there's two things that happen inside execute command. The redo stack gets cleared.
It does.
Because we're not supporting branching. Okay, we're moving forward if we call it execute command. The undo stack adds the command. Let's change this from flip command to just simply command. And we might call it stamp command. Well, I was going to have this kind of be a multi-purpose kind of thing here.
Sure.
Which is, I think update stamp selection UI needs to be inside of here, like that. There's another option which is works on tiles. Those are the two basic selection things that we can manipulate inside of our map. So we're going to add our command here. I also want to, if somebody passes in null, I want to get out of here. We're not doing anything.
Yep.
Okay. So there's, that's our execute. Next,
now we just need the UI to trigger it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to build that now. So let's go into our designer. We could almost do all of this while the app is running. Do you know that, Rory?
We fully implemented undo, redo, save for the UI already. That was like 4 lines of code.
Yeah, that was not bad. I think that's, well, we've implemented the ability to undo. We need to do the UI and actually go backwards is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting there. So let's come in here. Let's do a routed UI command. We're going to call this commands.undo and commands.redo, like this. Yeah, what would have been really cool is had we gone back, undo those 4 lines of code, run the app, and then say, now we're going to build undo and redo all in edit and continue. Should I do it, Rory? Should I just run right now?
Why not?
All right, I'm going to run it.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing.
You're on the Code Rush show, kids.
Absolutely.
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know Jack!
That might be true.
One day we should introduce you to Jack.
Yeah, there's a lot of people know Jack, but I don't know Jack. All right, so we're up here. We want to add the ability to undo and redo. All right, so let's use XAML. Oh, you know what, though? We can't add resources using XAML hot reload. We can't. I'm pretty sure it's going to block us there. Input bindings. Well, the input bindings, wait, we just added these resources. The input bindings we might be able to change here. Let's try to see if we can do this. So this is going to be control modifier here. Hold on, modifier. Modifiers is equal to control. And it's going to be commands dot, so control Z is going to be commands dot undo. All right, that looks like it's taken it. And I'm going to say control shift Z is undo. That's what I like to use for my undo. So I'm going to make it control plus shift, just a, yeah, okay, we're fine with that. I was just going to say, this bugs me about IntelliSense here, but if I come in here, if I do a plus, sorry, if I'm here and I do a plus and I say shift, it does that. I don't like that at all. It doesn't seem to support the concept that modifiers can be separated by a plus. Okay, let's see where else is zoom out showing up. It's in my command bindings. Of course. Well, let's duplicate it. Let's go to undo. And we're going to build something in here. We're going to add it in a second. And redo as well. We'll drop a marker here and here. We're going to come back to that. We can't add these while we're running. We need a breakpoint. Why not set a breakpoint here? Let's drop in something that is going to look very obvious when we flip it. Why not this one? Okay, there's the door. Let's hit the flip. Got our breakpoint. Now that we have our breakpoint, we can come out over here and let's create a new event handler for it. Command binding. Let's tab to next reference. Hit the F2 to rename. And we're going to call this redo execute. And let's come in here and do the same thing here. We're going to come in and control space, new event handler, tab to next reference, hit the F2 to rename it, and we're going to say undo, execute it. Sweet, we actually did all we needed to do by adding that resource. Everything else hot reload was able to handle. So by adding the resources up near the top, wherever we added those, we're rocking. Now I can control break here, run. I'm sorry, control break, I mean click. Now flip it again, clear this breakpoint. Flip, 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 flip. Now I'm gonna hit control Z. I'm at the breakpoint. Undo executed. We need to go to our undo stack, right? Dot pop.
I think so.
I made it a list, not a stack. Rory, why did I do that? So I was bad. All right, I'm going to start over. Sorry. It was fun. Sometimes we don't always succeed.
But the plan was otherwise working. You know, strategically it was fine. It was just that one teeny tiny mistake.
Yeah, I could have, worked my way through it, but I was like, I don't want to like grab the end of a list and then delete it. It was dumb. I want to come in here. So there's my stacks right there. All right, running again. Here we go. How are the build errors? No.
We're adding
add pushing. Yeah, I got it. Push. There we go. All right. Here comes our undo redo. It's kind of cool, right? We're getting close here. What am I doing here? I'm like, statues has got some kind of cool stuff. Fine. Look at this guy right here. Let's rotate him, bring him down a little bit. And here we go. Flip, 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 flip. And now control Z to undo. We're in the breakpoint. Go to the undo stack. Dot pop. I kind of want, by the way, Rory, I guess this is really only good for me while I do the show. But when I'm here and peak is up and I say the word pop, I want it to be like, boop, like that. If I haven't touched the keyboard, I kind of want it to do that. That may drive people crazy, but that's what I want. We're going to call this the command, actually. I think I should also basically say, hey, look, if this .count equals 0, then I want to put up a message box that says, nice try, sucker. Like that, or just return. Then we're going to come down here, command.pop. Then we're going to go to the redo stack, and we're going to push that.
Push that straight in.
Right? Like that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to also execute. I think we're going to execute here. Execute command, like this. Pass it in, like that. Now, wait, what's execute command doing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's working with selected stamps.
But we're also clearing the redo stack, which is not what you want to do.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I do not want to call any of this. I want to
this is
call something else.
I think I want to extract a piece of this and call the extracted piece.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on it. Give me a second on this.
Yeah, the other one is kind of an extract with redo undo, as opposed to just extract. I mean execute.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a different additional parameter. Parameter is going to be an enum, which is going to be the command execution type, I think, and it's going to be hold on, and it's going to be execute or undo or redo, like that. Then I'm going to add that parameter here. Can I hit add parameter? There it is right there. Command execution type dot execute, like that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come down in here and I'm going to say, hey, if execute, I'm going to switch statement it.
Scroll that up slightly.
I just was about to do that, my friend. Yeah, no, always tell me to do that. But I'm becoming more aware of it. So we're going to do execute here. We're going to do undo here. And we're going to do redo here.
So apropos of scrolling up, and completely unconnected with anything else we're doing, so we're to be completely derailed by this. I was curious about the structural side, the screen design of the secondary show, the one with the D&D that we're going to be doing, and I was curious about the fact that you've got a scroll on screen on the left-hand side, which is a very tall piece of graphic.
Yeah. And
yet you've put a position of a player underneath that, albeit an NPC.
Right.
And on the opposite side of the screen, we've got a clock that's very short. Yeah. I wonder if it wouldn't make more sense to switch that person with the clock, because it would overlap less.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
Now, it might break a whole bunch of things until they were accounted for, and it might not be to do it immediately, certainly. But
yeah. For example, hold on a second.
Because we've got a whole bunch of stuff, like I think the tooltips try to avoid where Fred is, don't they?
That, for example.
Yeah.
Fred knows the blood when it's about to hit him, and he puts up his his shield.
There's definitely reasons why this is a more complicated thing than it might first seem.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting idea. I don't mind it the way it is. We're able to see just about all the data that shows up on the scroll, but really, really good point. But we have a lot of effects built for Fred as well. We'd have to reverse all of those effects. Like, for example, we've got plant growth, right? So plant growth is there.
We're quite invested in this particular layout, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Which is fine. I mean, it's a good excuse. It genuinely is.
Yeah, we've got Fred's teleportation. Fred's, yeah. So we got to kind of figure it out. We got Arcane Shroud is there. You know what? I think that's a really good observation, though, Rory. I really like that. This clock was bigger initially, but it got smaller because we wanted to have little cutie here, and like when we go, for example, when we go into combat. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. That's not the one I want to do. That was non-combat initiative. Let's roll this one instead. There, when we go to combat, it catches fire, the clock stops, all of that. Yeah, I don't know, Roy. And there's the Dungeon Master right up there. That's where the Dungeon Master is. So we're all, but I think that's a really good suggestion.
Nothing that needs to be done at this stage. Like I say, that's a lot of investment that's done that way. So perhaps we can pretend like that's not an issue anyway. In fact, it isn't that much of an issue anyhow.
Yeah. Okay, let's exit combat. Just hitting the right button up here. There it is. Boom. Kind of cool.
Okay, so we are looking at our redo undo.
Yeah.
With a new, so this is the inner method that you've now extracted out as the called
I have.
execution 2.
So now what I
want asked in enumeration, suggesting what kind of execution.
Yeah, and now I think I can rename this because we have a different parameter to it, and I can rename it. Normally I wouldn't be able to do this during edit and continue, but I just created this method, so we're okay. Codebase Alpha says, hello there, everyone. WorldWake is out there as well. How you doing, WorldWake? Good to have you guys with us. Looks like we lost, dang it. We lost our...
Treasure gone.
Yeah, and how are we doing this? How is it? I'm like, this is such a mystery to me as to why we're missing.
Isn't there a delay, though? So a built-in delay that says it doesn't happen within X hours of having done it? And wasn't Codebase Alpha on yesterday?
Yep, and it didn't happen then too as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't understand why it's not working anymore. Yeah, your drone's gone, the music control is gone. Let's refresh the drone game and see if just the drones come back in. Notice, by the way, all the coins are in sync.
That's true.
Let's see if I wonder if that's related. Really got to understand, we got to kind of collect some data on this here. Let's refresh. So I'm refreshing just the drone. And if I recall correctly, my attempts to recover from this problem require more than simply a refresh of the drone game. So in other words, I'm going to refresh this, and I'm going to try. You try after once it's done loading, we still see the scroll bars. If you were to try the drone command again, I think it's not going to work. What's interesting is it's really taking a long time to load this up. This I don't understand either. Is why is it sometimes like I've got still 10% of my CPU available? Why sometimes does it take so long? And then if I come right back in to the drone game, bring up the properties on this. So I'll bring them up so you can see them. Here they are. Here you can see the scroll bars on the side. I come in one more time and refresh. So it's been like a minute almost. Refresh again and watch this time. See what happens. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. This is Karen just walked in the room. Yeah, it's taken a while this time to refresh it. So sometimes it's like really fast and sometimes it takes a while. And I don't understand that. What? Baby? 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 Now refresh one more time. All right. So am I at a break point? Is that my problem?
Oh.
Nope. Everything's running except for my D&D map spike. Yeah, interesting. And now look, no scroll bars. Now it appears to have been refreshed itself.
But drone's still no.
Drone's still not working, as I kind of expected. So let's get all that back up again, because I want to have that back and working again. Let's see if we can. I'm going to try something new this time, and I'm going to destroy this guy. And this guy right here, and that should close down my overlays. And I'm going to restart my overlays. Before I do that, I have to kill every instance of Chrome, or else we'll get an error that it can't restart. Here comes the restart. So I'm not, at this point, restarting my main D&D window, and I'm not going to refresh the dice layers. And I think what will happen is the dice layers aren't going to work. It's like this weird thing where SignalR comes in and says, okay, I'm working now in some of the things, but not all the things. And as I recall, with experience on this, I have to restart the and refresh all of the layers to get it to work when I do this. Yeah. But this should at least get the drone game working and get our, all right, so this is here. Let's see now. Yeah, it was a poke on the cheek. Now let's see what happens if we try to do the drone command. And does that work now? It does not. Oh, because I need to refresh the drone layer. Which I don't actually see. There it is right there. Okay, so bring this up again, hit refresh on that. And now this should make it work. But the once this is done, once those scroll bars go away. Interestingly, this one is taking a while to load, apparently, which I don't understand. It's as if it's in a breakpoint. Are you in a breakpoint? Let's go double check. No. The only thing that I'm debugging that I'm in edit and continue on is my D&D map spike. So there we go. It did finish loading, by the way, just now. So this is done. Oh, no, it's not. It's still got the circle. Thought it was done. Interesting. And how are we doing over here? Still got the scoreboards here. Yeah, I don't get this right. Sometimes when I come in, these things in seconds refresh.
I think what's happening is the code is listening to you and is trying to just be stubborn.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
The closest I can imagine. There's a ghost in the machine.
We're background loading. DevTools failed to parse signalr.js map.
Oh. Well, the .map is just the ability to map it back to source.
Oh,
right?
For debugging purposes. Yeah. Okay.
So that shouldn't be too
It looks
much
like it was. So what's interesting is
clearly the biggest and most important problem is now solved.
That's right. Yeah, still got scroll bars though. So this performance thing is blowing my mind, right? Notice it's every single image has been background loaded in the time it's taken to do this, right? We've gone from, these are loaded by number of images. So the ones with the most images are loaded first and all the way down to the last ones right there. We're done with delay loading. What could we possibly be doing? It's like we're in a deadlock.
Says your VS is at a continue prompt, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just this one. It's the D&D map spike, which should be good.
Right,
should have
so
nothing.
That won't be interrupting the process we're witnessing in the browser there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm like, it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels like I need to be more brilliant and knowledgeable than I am to understand the problem. I don't understand the problem, but let's work on our, let's do this at least. So we're going to do this, execute command. We want to pull in the second one. That's going to be, what is the command execution type? Is what we need to do. Yeah, Karen, can you help me figure out what's going on here? We want to do an undo like this. In fact, what I really want to do is I think I want to extract all of this into its own method called undo.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. Right like there. Call that undo. Like that. What do you think? You're like, your hair is just slightly in frame right here. What do you think? Let's duplicate this.
What? World Wake. What?
World Wake says, oh, she's looking for attention, huh? Yeah, there's my redo right there. And look at that. CodeRush duplicate selection figured out all the changes I wanted to make there.
I want Little Kitty to be played only by eyebrows.
Yeah, no, a little eyes. Got to get the eyes in. You can't just do eyebrows. A little bit further up. Little higher.
That's all I get.
All right, fine. All right, okay.
Little cutie, the talking hair and glasses.
Yeah, we need more laser-eyed peacock action on the stream. That'll fix it. Yeah,
Always.
that'll fix it.
And it's a turkey.
Yeah, it's a turkey.
Hang on, now it is a turkey? Oh,
Roy's like, hang on. And now it is a turkey. Welcome to my life, Rory. Now you know what my life is like. Wait, what was right yesterday is wrong
You
today?
don't know. You don't know what's happening.
Always be afraid.
Always
Rules are
keep them
never
guessing.
consistent.
Yeah. Keep them on their toes at every moment. That's Kieran's plan. Okay, so let's try the undo execute. Undo stack count is 5. We're going to pop that. We're going to put it on the redo stack. Yeehaw. We're going to undo it. I just executed it. I don't know what's going on. Let's just run and see what's happening. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z.
That looks suspiciously like success.
Now I'm done. Now let's hit Control Shift Z. All right, here we go. We need something kind of like this. If my redo stack, if my redo stack dot count is 0, then we're done. Otherwise, we're going to go to the redo stack and we're going to pop it. We're going to go to the undo stack and we're going to add it. And then we're going to call redo on it. Now, we're living in kind of on borrowed time here a little bit. So here, Control Shift Z, and then that's 5 times. Control Z is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's done. Control Shift Z. All right, not bad. Let's throw some more stuff in here so we've got, we can kind of see this. We're living on borrowed time, and the reason why is because once we delete an item, right, like that, my redo is going to create a new one. And that's the problem we were talking about before. So if I do a bunch of changes, I delete an item, go back a little bit forward, start going forward again, I recreate it. Now the selection is gone and no longer valid. I need a way to solve that problem. I think so. Let's continue to live on borrowed time for a moment, and let's get the rotate commands in as well. So let's get the horizontal, flip horizontal. Fortunately, the code changes for that aren't hard. In fact, we can do them while we're still running. Should be able to do them, at least the flip.
We're going to morph a running rotation command into one that deposits itself in the undo stack and therefore is capable of being undone and redone.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I thought I could scroll up and find it.
That sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like, it's a testament to, hold on a second.
Good design.
Execute command, and also good implementation of edit and continue. Here's kind of where I want to start. I want to get to execute command. It's here. Let's do this. Let's turn this into a single line of code. I need to get a breakpoint on here. Let's do a horizontal flip. What's happened? Oh, I deleted the item. Okay, so let's drop a new item down on here. And let's horizontal flip. Let's inline this temp like that. So that's what this now looks like. I think I should be able to create classes to handle the rotation as well. Here's the flip vertical. So we're going to do this and turn this into vertical flip.
So if this works, I mean, you're doing vertical flip now first, which is, some might argue, the slightly easier version of what you suggested because rotation doesn't have its own classes yet. But either way, we're still having to create new classes. So if this does work, as you say, seriously testament to very good edit and continue, because you're not just making new types which will be executable in the usual sense, but also creating types which apparently will have been absorbed and understood by the whole system at large, so that when you use an activator, it can still find it. That's pretty good.
Let's give it a shot. So here, I've done a bunch already. Let's do it again. I'm going to go, wait, actually, let's not do this. Let me pop this in here. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do this one right here. So we've got this very kind of clear, he's facing down right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to hit undo. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we should go up and down. 1, 2, 3. I call that it works. And then the redo, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I keep hitting it, nothing else. So it's working. Now let's see if we can, using only edit and continue, do our rotates and nail those. So this is the core code here that we need. right? The reverse of a rotate left is a rotate right, right? So not too big of a deal there. So let's do this, rotate right. Here we go. We're going to change this code into like that. We're going to copy this to the clipboard. We're going to kill all of that code right there. We need to go create a rotate right class. We have this base flip command.
Presumably a base rotate command.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. The thing is that the flip selection is the opposite of itself. And so we had these. I don't think so. I'm going to just inherit straight from base stamp command is what I'm going to do. So let's just paste this out here for now. Let's copy that to the clipboard. Do a descendant right there, and we're going to call this the rotate right command, like that. And you got your drone working, I see. That's nice.
Yeah.
And let's implement that. And there's my implementation. Let's take our code right here. And so the redo is going to look like this. And my undo is going to look like this. Right? Do you agree with that?
That's right. I do.
Okay.
It goes left, which is counter to the right, and yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now, do you want to? Here's the test. This is the test. The test is, hold on, I'm just coming in here, turning this to rotate left command, and then we've got to reverse these two right here. This is going to become rotate left, and this one is going to become rotate right, like, oops, like that. And so that's the opposite of those. Now, here's the killer test, and this is, if this works, this is a testament to not only edit and continue, but also the .NET Core, right? I've just created 2 new classes. Oh! All right, undo. Hold on, I got to keep them in the same file. I forgot about that. Undo. They got to be in the same file because edit and continue. Okay? Yeah. So, but here's the test. I've just added 2 new classes. To create these, somewhere in here, where is it? It's in
it's your command factory.
Factory. Yeah, there it is. I'm trying to activate it. Is Activator going to be able to find it and get it? That's the question. Okay, so let's continue to run. And here we go. We're coming in here. We're trying to find the rotate right command. Is it going to find it? Oh, okay. So we found a limit. We've hit the wall.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm going to just kill the app and restart it. No worries. Oh, wait. Actually, before I restart it, let's move those files to their own types. To their own classes, to their own file. Move those types to their own files. That's what I meant to say. Changes not allowed while code is running. Hold on. I want to stop the code from running. Move type to file. There's Roy Becker code rush flying around. Let's get some music playing in here. Rotate left command is there. Where's my rotate right command? Type to file. All right, now I got those in there. Let's run it. It's too bad the activator didn't get it.
That's a shame.
I really, I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't expecting it. I would have been like, I have
to imagine that's much more complicated to achieve, and that very few people desperately need it.
True. Yes. It's just me over here pushing on edit and continue harder than anyone. All right, what do we got here? Let's grab a feature. I want to get this. This guy's got. No, I want something with a diagonal kind of thing. This has got a diagonal, so it's like very obvious kind of where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
We've got smoke coming out of the diagonal. We got this. Let's throw that in there. Okay. So now let's do this. Flip. I'm going to just clear the breakpoint. I'm going to trust this is all going to work. Flip, flip, rotate. Oops, guess who forgot to do a rotate execute command on rotate left? Very important, otherwise we don't get the undo there.
True.
Rotate left. Right, look at what's happening to the code
Those
though.
commands are so much simpler.
Yeah, in fact, holy cow, why didn't I just do this? Right, the command create should have been inside execute command. Right, it should just take a single string.
Yeah,
Right, you see what I'm saying?
pretty much.
Okay, so anyway, we'll run it. We'll fix that later. So rotate, clear that, rotate, rotate. Now I'm gonna hit undo. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Flip, flip.
Nice.
Not bad. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then let's go back with the now. So we're still going forward, right? And now I'm gonna hit undo. So it's gonna rotate, 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 and then I think rotate, then flip, 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 and then we're done. And then Control Shift takes it forward like that. Sweet. But we're living on borrowed time. Our borrowed time is that what happens if we delete and then recreate this reference to the selected stamps that we're holding downside of in our base commands is going to be trashed and hosed like crazy.
This is why I'm never stepping on a teleporter. I'm never teleporting everywhere, because the Rory that comes out the other end, that might not be the same one.
Rory, this is
I'm
why
not
I'm
risking it.
always stepping on a teleporter. I'm always going to do it. I think that might be a clue. I wonder if that's a clue. So look at this. We've got a string of coins all in sync up in the upper left.
Hey, we do.
I want to start keeping an eye on this because remember we saw all of them in sync? What was happening with that? Very interesting in the code because these should not be syncing up. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand all of them being in sync, and I can understand none of them being in sync. But a specific set, that's kind of strange.
I think what happens is it slowly changes over time as they sync up, and I don't quite understand why that is. I think I need to figure that out.
Wow, what are the chances, though? I mean, what, an arbitrary 7 or 8 coins?
No,
Even if there was a small adjustment happening.
no, chances are huge because there's like about 100 to 200 frames of animation in that coin flipping around. So it's like each time it's 200 to the what, 8th power? It's a huge number. Here, Roy's like, what are the chances? Let's bring that up. I hate that my y to the, do I have a y to the x here? I don't. Come on, that should be in standard. 200 x to the y 8. That's your number, right? And if we do 1 over x, this is your chance.
2.5 quadrillion.
It's that many zeros, right? It's essentially a zero. Your chance is no way that that's going to happen. Yeah.
And yet, there we go.
Okay.
Universe is a funny place, people.
Yeah, it's a funny place. All right, so I think my next challenge, I don't know, do I continue to live on borrowed time? Maybe I do. What do you think, Rory? You got to get out of here soon.
I do. I've got about, what time are we now? I've got 10 minutes. So, I mean, your choices going forward are what other operations do you have that operate without removal and thus needing to re-add?
All kinds. All kinds. We've got, let's
because
go.
In theory, they can all work.
Yeah, let's kind of, well, the next, we start getting complex, when we have, so far, everything, in fact, we haven't tested this yet, but this should all totally work. Hold on. Let's bring this back, bring this up here. By the way, now my undo redo is not going to undo or redo that scaling I just did, right?
Or the movement.
Right, or the movement, right? So we need to definitely add those. But the thing I wanted to demonstrate here is if I throw in a number of items here, like this, and I shift click on them, so we got multiples, right? 1, 2, 3, and I undo 1, 2, 3. That all works, right? Flipping left and right, 2, 3, and then like that. So that's all working as expected on the selection. grouping and ungrouping, the same problem, right? When we group, we remove from the main layer. Grouping and ungrouping might work with regards to borrowed time. The real problem is deletion and recreation. And I think the solution is this, is that I create a list of GUIDs and I ask the map every time to get that list of GUIDs back. So in my base stamp command, which I don't see up here, but it's one of the descendants of this. Let's look at derived types here. There it is right there. Well, maybe not. Hold on. Base stamp commands has got this. I could move this to base stamp commands. And instead of storing this like just simply the list, it stores the GUIDs of it. And then before executing a redo or an undo, I reconstitute this by going to the map and asking for the selection. Is what I do.
Yeah. Select me these things. I mean, that's quite a useful facility.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that's the solution. I think I'm going to head in that direction because it's the more, I think it's the more challenging direction. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Yeah. We'll work on this tomorrow because it's a little bit bigger. I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on borrowed time because I actually have some complexity in like just the movement of the items. Because so far with undo and redo, we've chosen some easy elements. Flipping, right? And flipping and reversing, flipping and rotation, which the opposite of which is a known entity, right? The opposite of a rotation is a rotate the other way. But with regards to the move,
we're going to have to store some additional information for our undo, aren't we?
Oh, no, we're not, actually.
Location.
No, we just do the deltas with the move. The delta with the move isn't too bad. And also, I think the delta with the scaling can do the same thing. Let's implement those now. See if we can build those with edit and continue. Oh, we can't. It's known that we can't because we don't have the...
we have to create the commands.
Yeah, we have to create the command. So let's do the move command. Let's look at how move is implemented in here. Do I have a move? What do I have? Move selected stamps. Okay. Interesting. Look at this. Okay, we're Z ordering. That's all code we can put down here. If we're copying, oh, this is, wait, oh yeah, this is also supports a copy option. Huh. This is tricky. Supporting the copy option is a little bit tricky because we're now supporting creation and adding that to the undo redo stack.
Yeah.
Not sure about that yet. But if we ignore copy, so copy is here and copy is here. Let's show selected stamps. Selected stamp visibility. True. Oh, because we hide them during the move. We hide the stamps during the move unless we're copying them. We hide the original positions. Okay. Yeah, this copy is like, whoa. And it touches the UI layer. Ugh.
Oh dear.
So what we need is the map to be able to support adding the stamp and the UI layer to get an event on it. Move, because of the copy option, move is hard.
Yeah.
Right now. If it was just this, right? This is, without copy, it's just this. Call right here.
Form of translation, which essentially was what rotate and the others were as well.
Yeah, what if we did this? Hold on, I think I've got a way to fix it. Hold on, let's do this. this is going to be, we're going to fix this. We're going to do this.
You're going to move the copy code outside of move.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oops. Copy, like this. Otherwise, move, like that. And so now we're going to come into move. I'm going to duplicate this, essentially. This one we'll call like copy selected stamps.
That can stay pretty much the same. Apart from now, you don't need to go if copy because you always are copying when you call it.
Yep.
Which is nice. Simplifies that to
yeah,
an extent.
yeah. This all comes down in here. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that. So there's my copy
What was that
now.
last piece you took out?
It was just a, if copy stamps is not null, it's definitely not null now. This
Right.
was
Yes,
before.
because we will have done stuff regardless. Good.
So there's that. Let's format that. Okay, good. There's copy selected stamps. This is better. I like this code better anyway. Now we can come in here. We know we're not copying. No copied stamps. No need to show them. We still need to order them like that. None of this is here. And that's not there. Okay, now move we can deal with, right? Copy is different. So copy is harder and move is different. So now we can...
Just made an adjustment that stops it from showing selected stamps. But
Yes.
I don't remember that being conditional prior. So it would have been happening for both move and for copy. Now, is that a prior mistake we're clearing up or a mistake we're about to make?
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought... Yeah, maybe you're right. Let's keep it in. Let's keep it in. Good point. I think that's important. All right. So now we got move selected stamps. Show selected stamps, though, is tricky because we don't have that. What's my penalty on this performance issue on here? We got a begin update and end update on the stamps layer. Changing the visibility. What goes in here? Visible. It's just going straight on in it. Update count. Wait. Is visible. That's iStamp properties. Let's look at its setter. Base stamp properties. Not overridden though. Just trying to think of is it actually are we if we're changing it or not is what I'm trying to figure out here. Because I'm not into the begin update, end update kind of thing here. Oh wait, we are already calling it. Hold on. We're already calling it. Oops, I escaped that back too far out of there. We're calling it out here. So inside here, where there's no additional penalty to call end update, because it's not going to do anything yet because we're already inside a begin update, end update pair. So in other words, when we call end update, it's going to subtract it, but the count won't be down to 0, so no penalty, right? And all we're doing is setting the visible property. So the question I'm asking is, should show selected stamps just simply be called no matter what from our execute command? That's kind of what I am wondering. Let's go find execute command so you can see what I'm talking about. Whoops. So the question is, does this go here? No matter what, because it works on the stamps. In other words, there's no penalty for making everything visible. Normally everything's visible anyway. The only time it would be invisible, let's do this for now. I'm gonna say needed for the move. consider only calling when needed.
Okay.
It's a move. Okay, so now I'm going to go in, call in, I want to say execute command. And we want to execute, let's do that other refactoring we were talking about too. Here, wait, right here. I want to do, stacked drones. Nice.
We all want to be
command
little cutie.
type. Like that. And then it's going to be come in and say execute command and pass in the command type. Like that. And so now all of this.
Maybe shorter way to do things.
Yeah. And so now
More
we.
concise, more clear.
Yeah, so now this is going to be rotate left. Sweet, right? Way better. Vertical flip. Like that. Way better.
Nice.
And now we want to go to our move. But now we want to, hold on though, we need to send additional data to it. Whoops. What's the data type? I think it's an object. Pass in data. Because the move we want to pass in, hold on, let me undo that for a second. I want this to be an optional parameter right here. Okay, so now we're going to throw in data here into base command, and then we're going to say we now want to do this. And then we're going to say command.data equals data, like that.
Okay.
So this allows us to throw in, you know, some more data to it. Let's go ahead and declare that. There's the data on the command. Okay. So now we can come back into there's our constructor right there. And we create it with the data coming in. And I think that's all we need to do. And it looks like Rory's got to go. Hey, Rory?
Sadly so. Sadly so.
The show's all easily like 1.5 to 1.7 times better with you here.
Well, it's good fun. I do enjoy this kind of show. I love the refactoring. I love the command pattern. They undo redo stuff. It's simple. It's it's simple, but it's not simple. But when done well, it's really elegant.
Yeah, we got some cool benefits from it. We saw them really kicking in fast, right? And we're just pushing it. So I'm gonna actually, between now and tomorrow, or now and Tuesday actually. So I actually might do. I'm thinking about starting another show on Friday, but tomorrow I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. It's just between you and me, kids.
It is like radar.
It's just like radar. Is that what you said? Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing this, but today I'm going to work on move and scaling, which deal with numbers and hue changes and all of those things, and we'll see how far we get. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna tackle the living on borrowed time problem. So we have we basically have the ability to delete and then reconstruct. say thank you to your family, as always, Rory, for
Indeed.
giving this time up for us. We're glad you're here, and we'll see
My
you on
pleasure, my
Tuesday.
friend. We'll see you then. Have a
Okay.
good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He's awesome.
Rory is awesome, kids. All right. Okay, so let's see. Execute command. Here we go. We want to execute a move. And I think what we're going to pass in here I'm going to create a new class. I could use a point, but I don't want to reference any other assemblies for that. I'm going to create move data and down in the map core. Here's my move data. Tied to its own file. All right. So now we've got the move data. What's going on? Oh, to constructor. Let's do that. Let's come in here. If I just use the CC template for constructor create, hit the space bar to select all, hit enter, it builds it for me. All I need to do there to get that constructor quickly. By the way, if you're watching, you want to copy CodeRush, let me know. If you don't already have one, I'll give it to you for free. All right, so there's the move. And there's what we're going to cut out of there. Okay. Then we need to go, let's come in here. Come in here, base command. I'm going to say create a new class that descends from base command. And this is going to be the move command. And let's implement it. And the redo is going to look something like this. We don't have lists here. So the problem, what is the problem here? I think it's we need generic. And now we need to just check the data. So we want to say, hey, if data is move data, like that, like that. And my redo, actually let's invert this here, flatten conditional on that, like that. So if data is not move data, then we're out. What's my problem here? Oh, doubled to an int. Okay. My bad. Okay. Good. There's my redo. And my undo. I think I don't need to sort by Z order. I only need to do this going forward, and maybe in fairness, I'm going to keep that there for now. Wait, why do I have this Z order anyway? I think the Z ordered selection. I don't need to do this. This was for copying. It doesn't matter the order in which I moved them by. It was just for the copying, the creation of them. I needed to recreate in the same order.
Awesome!
Code is awesome sauce.
Alright! Dev Express! Dance Battle!
All right. So we've got an undo and redo for the move. The undo is going to take the opposite of these. There's my negative there and there. So now I think move is just entered the undo redo. Let's see if it is. Hitting run, it's compiling. Here we go. Anybody excited to see if this is going to work? There's one, and now move it down here, move it down here, move it over here, move it over there, move it up there. Now hit Control Z. Ah, look at that. Control Shift Z. Sweet. Nice. Let's do scaling. Scaling, scaling, scaling. I kind of like what I did with move data. And I think I want to create a scale data class. Even though scale data is really only going to work with one primitive, which is the scale factor. Scale factor like this. I'm going to do that. Type in CC again, grab scale factor like that. And I think that's all I need. Just a simple DTO here. But I like that I like this idea of casting and say, hey, are you a scale data piece? Let's go into the main over here. What happened to having the card giveaway? I was so close. Well, lucky you said that, Jetsam. Because it's time for...
It's a brand new card!
Gonna give away a brand new card. Today's winner is...
You won!
He won a brand new car. I just got to go check with Dev Express to make sure that's all going to work and be okay, and they'll be okay. If not, we'll have to give away another copy of... sorry. Hopefully that'll all be good. So anyway, yeah, it's close. You almost won the new car. Just ran out of time today. That was it. Jetsam, you are awesome. I got to say, this is intense, says Dev Donut. Well, Dev Donut, I love your handle. You got it. I'm so glad you're here with us. I don't know if you know this or not, Dev Donut, but we create, sometimes we create fun little fanfares for folks who hang out with us and chat regularly. Always a bridesmaid. Tesla Model 3. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Gotta say this is intense. Dev Donut, you gotta, if you show up, I will make you a special fanfare that plays when you come in the first time into the chat room. So if that feels like a direction you want to go, let us know. Awesome. Oh, you have to wait another. Oh, yeah. Jetsam. I think you have to collect more coins to get to a higher level to be able to control Mr. Announcer Bot and override his protective mechanisms. But let's see here. What do I have here? Instead of an awesome, we could do a...
Unbelievable!
That works. Hey, you want to hear a story about my...
Cool story, bro.
I guess not. All right, fine. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let's go to... We want to make it move. Here's our... We did the move. The move already was awesome and done. Next, I want to do the scaling. So let's go find scaling. Because it's going to look something like this is what we're going to do here. Oh, wait. This, we don't need this here anymore. We don't need this or this or this or that. It's simply this now, right? It's looking awesome. Copy, we've got some problems. We'll work on that in a second. Let's go to, let's go find a scale. How am I not finding scale here inside of my main app? I'm looking for something with scaling. Oh, something's off screen. Is it down here? All right, let's hit the control options and look only inside this file for a second here. Stack scale buttons. That's not what I want. Oh, I've got some of these here. Okay, hold on. Set absolute scale to adjust scale. I'm looking for the adjust scale call. He says tracker mouse up. This is where I need to do it. Right here. My scale adjust is going to be calculated here. So what I need to do here is that line of code I just put in here. Scale, new scale data, like this, call it scale adjust and pass that in. Boom. This is going to go away. That's going to go away. That's going to go away. And now this bit is going to be, we're going to move this down and put it inside there. So it's positive. Six positive. Get those guys. They're bugs in my code. Six positive. Thank God she's here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Dev Donut. Fanfares like that, over the top. And since I love your handle so much, I feel like there'd be some donuts involved in your fanfare. Okay, what do I copy to the clipboard? That's right there. It's copied to the clipboard. Let's go do a descendant of base stamp, I think, again. Or wait, not base stamp, sorry. Base stamp command. Right? That's it right there. Throw the code up there. Let's come in here, do C/ give me that. And we're going to call this the scale command. How you doing, Six Positive? Where's your fanfare at? That's weird that it didn't show up till a moment. It took you a second or two and then it showed up. I have no idea how that happened, why that took so long. That's weird. Makes me wonder, is the problem intermittent, where we lose control and then comes back? Like, can I do volume down? Yeah, volume down and volume up are working. I posted a girlfriend for Fred. What do you, oh, you're talking about the little OS frog there. That's cool. Or boyfriend. No judgment. No judgment, Fred. We don't see Fred up here. Where's Fred? No judgment, Fred, right? Right, Fred? Oh, no control over Fred. Wow. All right. Let's stay focused on scale command here. Move type to file. Let's implement the base class. Get to our redo. And here we need to basically check to say, like, hey, look, if not, data is scale data. And let's create a new instance for it. Then we're going to get out of here and return. Otherwise, we're going to come in here, adjust scale, scale data, dot, scale factor. Excellent and exciting, right? And our redo is going to look like this. Pretty sure that's right. 1 divided by the scale factor. And that's it. Scale should now work. Let's see. Everybody cross your fingers. Yeah, this is a testament to the awesomeness of the command design pattern, right? The code is collapsing. The complex code we had is getting smaller. And we're getting new features. So let's drop this in. Let's scale it a little bit. Let's scale it a little bit more. Let's scale it even more. Hit Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Awesome. Control Z, Shift Z. go forwards and backwards. Look at that. So we do this, rotate. Well, rotate here means meaningless. Here we go. Let's do this one right here. Scale it down. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Change the scale. Too big. Let's move it so it's in the shot. Now Control Z, we don't see it. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Now we can't go past the creation. Let's go forward again though. You can go forward and backwards through it. So pretty cool. Control Z, Control Shift Z. Yeah, I love it. All right, so there's that. So we've got scaling. We don't have the absolute scale pieces yet. That gets tricky. And the reason why, so this is going to work with the selection, right? If I get a selection here and I scale them down and I undo it, it's all going to work, right? Scale, 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 and now undo, 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 undo. That is all going to work. And if I group them together, so if I put this here, for example, I control drag it over here, control drag it up here, hold on, control drag it up there, and control drag it over here as well. So now I've got these kind of 5 in the corners like this, group them together, bring them over here. The group and ungrouping I don't have yet, but scale these up and down, scale them up and down. It all should work. Let's do it. Undo, 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 undo. And Control Z, Control Shift C, which is redo, redo, redo. Undo, 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 redo, redo, redo. Looks good. Also, we should be able to rotate, rotate, and undo, undo as well. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of pieces are coming into play in here. My absolutes aren't working. I think I'm going to end the show though. I think we're pretty close to being done. My Z order changes aren't undoing and redoing as well. These are all more complex. We'll work on these and talk about these tomorrow. Also, the hues as well. I think we're going to play with hue, saturation, lightness to fix all those because, yeah, because we want to make these undo and redo, all of those. Hue, saturation, lightness, contrast. So we're getting closer. I think we're about 2 days away from finishing the whole thing. I said tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow. Look for that alert. And if not, we'll see you next Tuesday. Let's find out who on the Live Coders team is out there streaming. Taking a while to load the page. There we go. All right. Let's send you over to Lana Lux. We'll go ahead and do that right now. Start that raid. Say hi to Lana. And check out her game design. Also, InstaFlup's out there if you'd rather go to see that. Yeah, Jetsam Fred's out of control. Have a good weekend yourself, everyone. And we will talk to you guys later.